Back here with another episode of talking about Rooster Fighter. This time it is episode 5. I started that very weird, but I'm here with the one and only,
Cameron Thomas funny clips.
the GOAT, right here, all up in it. So, how did you feel about last night's episode? Starting off with what we got to see from Kenji and meeting that new character.
Well, before I start to say anything, I just gotta say, I wanna live. You know, guy had to get that out there. It's the highlight of the episode.
Definitely
But
is.
but yeah, I actually really did like this episode. In the manga, I actually when they split up, I was like, wait, does this mean we're just having only Kenji now? Like, I was wondering what was going to happen to the other characters. And it shocked me because I don't really see all that much happening in anime and manga nowadays, let alone TV shows
Oh, yeah.
where they have the main character leave the group. Like it's usually their rival or something like that, but the main character usually isn't the main character. But I actually do like how the character development is done in this story, mostly because um, we actually get to see Kenji actually seeing how saving the world really means a lot to other people and why it's important. And this also makes Elizabeth also show empathy for how Kenji really feels. As you see along this episode, she's starting to wondering about her feelings. Like, does she like him or does she still hate him for ditching her? And like, it's kind of like a really cool way of how they do the character development. And then Kyoko again, keeping the team, held together again. Like, I just really love how she's just constantly being like, oh, you hate Mister so much? He's a nice guy. And, she doesn't understand that he's really a douche some of the time, but
Yeah.
really at the end of the day, he is trying to get like an end goal and doesn't realize there's a bigger goal that he needs to do for others.
Most definitely.
And he gets selfish. What I did realize, like, they didn't really explain, like, in the manga, they didn't explain it was desires, but you had to kind of guess it is really what it was. But in the anime, they really do help you demonstrate that these are desires that become what they want so much that it becomes something that they do not want to become.
Yeah.
And it just becomes their whole personality. And I do like how it's explained better early on than what it is later because later on there is like during the train montage, like I've said a million times, this arc, they do go into deep detail of the desires aspect of it of the demons. We get the lore of the demons and all that, but really, I think doing it early on is a better idea than just letting it just happen until like the latest arc that you're probably not going to adapt in this first season because most anime do not even touch the recent arc that isn't even finished yet
Most
unless
definitely.
you're someone that has run out of material and just has to go there. And I really do like that aspect of it. And I will say, Mario does become a good character. Like he's a very he was always a character to me that was more sympathetic. He's a mistake is really what it is, and it's kind of like how we feel when, when we don't know how to live our lives and he's just trying to learn how to live it perfectly. And the desire that happened was just a mistake. And now he has no purpose in life. And it really shows that these demons, their whole purpose is to help get that desire out, even though they become more powerful with it, is what it is. And that's why there are some good demons and bad demons, because it really depends on how they control these humans into these. And I do like that aspect of it. And I do really like how they did their friendship, because, like, in the manga, it was like that. But again, with manga chapters, it's quick, fast, easy, done and done deal. This they actually like pan it out in like an episode form, and I really do like that, where like they're talking more, but they're also not adding new material at the same time. I really do like that aspect of it. And what I do like is that they kept the chicken dance scene, which is one of the most hilarious scenes in the manga because of how weirdly drawn he is. What you see in the anime,
Yeah.
that's how he's drawn in the manga. And it takes you out of it for a little bit, because you're like, wait, that's a totally different style than before. But then you are like, that's kind of the joke anyway. So,
Yeah.
but I really do like how they played off that joke. And really, since it's a manga and you really don't know what the chicken dance really is, they probably had like a whole. I really am wondering if they had like a whole discussion with the author, what he thought the chicken dance was in his head while he was writing the episode, or if they just did it based off the manga, because it is very similar to what it is in the manga. So, and it's pretty self-explanatory because of how blurry the image is. But anyway, what I will also say is that Mario is really a character that really does show that he could be part of this team, but really he's
Yeah.
just doing his job where he's just trying to be a normal civilian. But at the same time, in order to be a normal civilian, he also has to save lives as well. So that's another thing.
Yeah.
And I do like how the whole episode plays on that. And then I also like, because with the Elizabeth and Pyoko scenes, they were barely even used, and it was focused on Kenji because he's the main character.
Yeah.
And so we barely got to see any of like Elizabeth and Pyoko's side of the story, because like they disappear entirely. And that's what made me think, oh, he just wiped away these characters completely. And I thought they were supposed to be like one off characters that were supposed to be part of the journey. And then we're supposed to meet them up again later on, kind of like in One Piece, where we meet a character and we don't see him until like 10 arcs later. I thought it was something like that.
Yeah.
But really, it's just at the end of the arc, and it really tricks you with that because of how much anime really does that trope where it shows a character, does it for a couple of episodes, and then wipes it clean. It's just that main character, and that you don't see those characters until later on in the story. But what I do really like is that they showed more of Elizabeth contacting and interacting with the girl that was helping her grandpa, because the grandpa was barely used in the manga, and this whole relationship with the kid, because we were spending so much time on Kenji, and he literally was talking to Mario, and then and I think they kind of cut out a few fluff in there, because they just kept going on and on about it, is really what it was, because Kenji kept on being like, how can you be alone and not even have any friends? And then he's like, wait, that's literally what I am. But I'm also trying to get my sister back. So am I alone or am I not alone? And he's kind of confused of what to do because he's seeing this guy that is alone. But then he's also like, wait, that's kind of like what I am in this situation. I abandoned my friends and everything. And now I'm just back to square one of how I used to be, where I was just alone, didn't need nobody. And really, I do need somebody because I actually get bored by myself. Because we even see him just walking around and he has like no idea where to go. He's lost his sense of direction. And on top of that, he has no idea what to do and where to find this demon because Elizabeth has all the knowledge and he doesn't. And I do like that aspect of it. And, he goes and sees the casino and everything. And I do like how, it's a continued trend with him that he doesn't understand humans at all. He's always like, why are they like this? Why do they that? The humans are weird. Why do they eat chickens? And why do they chase chickens? Why do they torture them? And he's giving good commentary of why do we actually do that. So, and I actually do like how he literally does all this, and he's literally like bonding with a demon, his royal enemy, and you know, eventually learns his way. But on the Elizabeth and Pyoko side, I do like how it showed more of the flood that was happening that was barely even used, which only was shown through Kenji and the demon's perspective. And yeah, it was here and there, but they definitely skipped a lot of Kenji because of filler. And I really do appreciate that because I felt like in the manga, Elizabeth development wasn't all that good. And on top of that, Kyoko's strength just comes out of nowhere in the manga. Like she's she doesn't get strong until the training arc, which
Yeah.
I've always thought was the dumbest thing. And I do like that change where we're starting to see her growth. She's able to get stronger as a chicken. And we see that these chickens, they do have a hidden ability, even these baby chits, even if it's pretty much with all chickens, even chits. And I do like that aspect of it too, because in case you don't know, Elizabeth doesn't know her hidden potential yet. And that's why she uses weapons and tech and everything. But anyway, this was a really good episode. And then I was even surprised that they even decided to let this be a two-parter because I felt like if they cut out, if they went like with the manga,
Mhm.
and use less of Elizabeth and Pyoko, they could have literally done the whole thing, but it probably would have been rush. But that's what I like about this is that it makes you excited for the next episode compared to the last episodes, especially episode 4. That ending was like the only highlight of like the episode, in my opinion, because like the rest, it was just mostly just a hilarious, goofy time and just a throwaway episode. But definitely, this episode was 10 times better than that fourth episode that we watched. And I'm even surprised that they're even showing that Elizabeth and Pyoko are going to show up in the next episode and she meets Kenji again. Like, I was like, that was the whole thing in the manga that we were like wondering if they're ever going to get back together again. Yeah, in the anime, they just, Tsunami's just like, screw it. If they've seen if they read the manga, they understand it. Let's just throw away it. And I really feel like they could have done like a scene with like obviously there's a scene where they could have shown Kenji trying to use his cock-a-doodle-doo on the flood because he does do that. But I could see them being like those Elizabeth fans and Pyoko fans probably are gonna be like, where is the other characters? But who knows? But other than that, I actually think this episode was actually really good.
Yeah, I thought it was a great episode as well. Now that I look at it, the perspective is like we're seeing Kenji. God, I don't know why I was going to call him. I was going to call him Genji for like Overwatch, but Keiji, he was basically trying to. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but essentially, I get what you're saying. He was starting to understand his feelings and what he's left behind, in a sense, whenever he sees Mario and what he's been going through. At the same time, we go from focusing on him to Elizabeth and Pyoko, seeing them starting to understand their feelings and how they feel about each other. Because in a sense, they kind of don't understand each one. Pyoko doesn't really like Elizabeth, and Elizabeth doesn't really like Keiji, at least as of right now. But she's starting to understand her villains a little bit. I do think it's really awesome that Mario's going to come back and he's starting to finally understand his purpose. And my thing that I was kind of thinking about is like, man, he's able to go into that big demon form because finally he has his purpose once again. He wants to save the people. So it seems like these demons gain power in whatever they're trying to do in that moment to meet that desire, like you were saying. So everything was like really coming together and all of that. I thought it was a wonderful episode. I thought it was awesome. I could really understand it. And the bigger thing, it makes you want to watch the next episode. So I'm not really mad it all came to a close in like an instant second. That would have been a lot to really fit in, it seems. So yeah, that's my take on it all. I really didn't have much to add there, but I felt like he did pretty strong today. Like the strongest. But
I
as
will
always.
say, I will say another thing.
Mhm.
Uh, and this is probably on the network's fault, really. But the thing I don't like about Toonami is that they cut the episode like on like a weird way,
Yeah.
where like the where you could hear that the music was supposed to fade, or it was supposed to fade to black or something like that. Like this episode, it had the weirdest cut to where he just sees the flood and the dam breaking, and then he's like, I gotta go save it. And then we do the outro. And I was like, I wish they could figure out some way they could fix it.
Mhm.
Like, it's almost like it's a problem on the anime's part of it, but at the same time, shouldn't Adult Swim find some way to, cut the theme song in half or something like that? Like it's a
Yeah.
little weird.
I think we talked about it a little bit last week. I think it's partially due to Dan to Dan and that warning. So they're actually having to make a little bit of time. So that could be what it is. I don't know if it's necessarily studio based. I would have to actually have watched
Yeah,
the standalone episode to really know or notice. But at the same time, maybe if you check out the sub, it could be different. I don't know. It could be the cuts.
yeah,
That's something else I'm unsure about.
yeah. I will say, definitely that uh the next episode is going to be a banger. But
Mhm.
I will say, uh, I hate how Toonami had that situation because the whole thing all started. That whole photo sent, the whatever you call it, I can't really say it, but the flashing lights thing all happened because of a
Oh,
Dragon Ball Super episode.
content warning.
And Yeah, and it was actually in the tournament of power where Goku goes Ultra Instinct, and you have the white and red colors clashing together, and the bright lights. There's bright lights when they fight, and the aura around them, And there was a viewer that watched it that night and got a seizure from it. And so they contacted Adult Swim about it, and of course they sent an apology and a fine for it for what they did. So then they started, and I've been seeing this on like almost everything. I've heard that since that incident, if it even has some kind of glowing light in an anime like the third eye or something like that, they have to put it there because they're worried about getting sued again, is what it is. And it's so bad that some Fox shows, their episodes, they have to have that thing in the front of it because, they'll have like flashing lights or something like that, even though those never had that warning sign before, but they have it now. So
Definitely a big switch up on a lot of shows. That Dead End season, yeah, it's honestly not just the flashers. I also think it's pretty dark in the terms of what they talk about. Like they use the term worm suicide, and I think it's just a mention of those types of words also that do give it those marks, sadly.
yeah. Yeah, and they also talked about abandonment issues and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
they go into all the nitty gritty. Like
Mm.
it it is harsh.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised because I don't know. No, I guess Tokyo Revengers doesn't necessarily need it. I guess the other two shows, they're all right. Bloodlock and Tokyo Revengers, as far as warnings.
I know One Piece has it sometimes, like because of the the flashing lights is what it is,
Oh, yeah.
and I'm like, okay, but I did hear when they did like Ennie's Lobby, they had to do some suicide warnings with that because of there's literally Robin wanting to die,
Yeah, yeah.
because she's a complete curse and they couldn't have that, so they had to have the suicide number on it. So that's like one of the only ones that had it, though. But I guarantee you they're gonna have that once they have the episode where uh, Sanji has to go to Whole Cake Island and he's at the
Oh,
wedding and
yeah.
he's about to be assassinated.
Yeah.
That's gonna happen there. So
It's been a minute. That was the funniest thing ever, all of it going down, and then how it all just kind of came together. It was crazy.
yeah,
But, Rooster. Sorry, you go ahead.
but I will say I do indeed like how I think they've picked a perfect series that doesn't have all that, where they don't have to put a warning at the beginning of that, because I could definitely see like a lot of content getting cut out because of those warning signs, because they can't even play the Don Don outros because of it. And they just have to show a black screen showing the credits of the names because so many episodes just have so much content they're not allowed to really show on TV, but they have to show a warning sign on it.
That's half the fun. That's half the fun for that series is the intros and the outros.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, Man, last night was a great night for anime, I felt like.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Um, what would you rate Rooster Fighter Episode 5?
I definitely would rate it mostly due to the sympathy part, and they actually did nail it just as good as the manga did. Uh Definitely a 10 out of 10 episode again. Like it's just the story is just really my cup of tea type deal. So really these episodes mostly are just gonna be 10 out of 10s, I'm just gonna say.
Um,
Unless it's a chapter I just didn't really like.
oh, I feel like there's got to be one eventually coming.
Well, the fourth one I gave like a 9.5 due to it, you know, feeling like filler, you know.
Yeah, I got you on that one. What do you think I'm gonna rate it?
Your rating system is kind of strict, so
Not really strict. That's
definitely not a 10. You never do 10s, so
I can't.
I'm guessing like 9.8. You seem to really like this episode.
I'll give it a 9.2. That's pretty high.
9.2, okay. Yeah,
I,
still not bad. Yeah.
I was a little upset about one thing, and I know this is gonna be really dumb, but Mario was very CGI'd, and I did not like it as much. I'm like, that doesn't look too good. They should just made him a bit more normal than the rest of the demons.
Yeah, I noticed this episode they used CGI on the humans, which hasn't been used
Hmm.
at all, really. But like the grandpa, the little girl, like almost every character in this episode, except for the teenagers in the high school in the opening scene, has been nothing but CGI this episode. And I can see how that can be not that good sometimes.
I'm not gonna hate on it. It was just kind of bugging me for the second. I'm like, I kind of noticed it too much, and I don't really normally care about that.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like, I mean, my favorite anime is Ninja Kamui, and that has like some of the worst CGI in the world, but I still get a kick out of it.
Dude, I love Ninja Movie. I just need like another season to actually see the battles. Like, I feel like we didn't get enough of the mech stuff. They kind of just left us with like one or two mech fights, and I was like, adios. You already hit in game.
Yeah, I actually like in like 2 years ago, I actually watched it with my little brother. I actually showed him the full series. And he's one of those people that hates filler and hates slow pacing. And, there are some episodes with very slow pacing. And I was watching it and I was like, they show a lot more CGI fight scenes than I thought they did. And I did notice, like, in like the final two episodes, like the CGI was like on par with the action of what it was showing before. But
Oh yeah,
yeah,
I thought that was a better show. Rooster Fighter though, it's something else. You got comedy, you got your action. This is the new generation of action comedy being a big thing. So I support it pretty heavily. On that end, it's something that anyone can pick up and enjoy.
definitely.
You got any closers for today?
I do have one closure in that you probably that this is probably going to be like a really like I'm actually really curious of how they do this because literally as I said before when they changed the name from Chicken Little to Pyoko, they give her official name and the where Kenji comes back, which he names her Pyoko.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how they're gonna do that scene. Is really what I was just giving a reminder to that, but it really does make you think. How are they gonna fix that? Like, obviously, there was a scene in this where where Elizabeth, uh, yells out Pyoko. The whole time she's saying Pyoko, she's saying Chicken Little. So that's the only differences in this episode, really. But next episode, I'm probably gonna have a lot to say because there's going to be like a lot of changes, I feel.
Yep. Like a lot. Like a lot, a lot.
Well, I'm saying that whole name change, it was like a big character development moment. So I'm wondering how they're going to fix that due to the whole censorship because it was like the moment where Kenji actually cared about Kyoko is what it was because he actually gave her an actual name and not some pet name is what it was.
I mean, they could be like he might think of a name and it might be just really bad. They might do instead like, oh, what about Chicken Little? No, that's not a good name. And then Pioka just sticks. They might
Yeah,
they might just throw it in there just randomly. She might not even get renamed. It's hard to say.
because like the official name is Pyoko, so like I'm really wondering how you fix that whole character development problem because it's like what I said in episode 3. It contradicts the entire character development aspect of it, of his big character development moment where it's supposed to be a symbolism for his character growth, that he actually cares about Pyoko now and that he wants to be a father figure to her.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where that goes as well. I might need to actually read some Rooster Fighter. I've not hit the books just yet, so I'm gonna have to figure out a place to do so, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I can definitely tell you're into this series and you'll probably be picking up some volumes after this whole show's over, pretty much.
Yeah, I've been already looking at like I'm trying to find the Funko Pops, but I want them out of box to kind of just have as like a collector thing,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and I kind of want to see how it goes. Like I'm still trying to get into the lore of things. We know a lot more than ever before, and that's what makes it pretty fun. It's a fun
Yeah,
universe. That's all I could really say about it so far.
definitely. It's always the universe that really gets you into it. Like, I know, like, for obvious reasons, Donadon, it's the universe is all crazy and wacky and it just gets you on the edge of your seat. Jitsu Kaisen has a unique concept. It just doesn't use the concepts all that much, but the world building is pretty cool in it.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
like Dragon Ball's whole aspect of it, where we see all parts of the world and universe and everything, like that's always fun. Naruto is always cool because we get to see how this ninja clan works and everything, like and all the rules. You know,
yeah.
that there's always something new when it comes to an anime universe compared to what us Americans do when we make our cartoons.
A lot more rules, and it feels more realistic. Like it's bounded but unbounded at the same time.
Definitely. Like most American cartoons, it just feels like it, yeah, you can live in that world. When it's an anime, you're like, oh, I cannot live in that world. I won't survive a day.
Day one, not making it out.
You put me in Elbath, I die in the first minute.
For a second, I'm just
Squashed by a giant.
yes, sir. I, dude, I would not survive any of these anime universes. I'd be gone the
No.
first second. Too much. Rooster Fighter, actually, we would survive.
Yeah, definitely. All you just need is to find a good shelter to hide in and just stay indoors most of the time, and you're pretty much safe.
Prefer the demons too. Some of them are pretty nice
Yeah,
guys, apparently.
exactly. Just find a demon to be friends with, and they can just pretty much protect you.
Or get really obsessed, then you can become a demon hero. Apparently.
Yeah.
I guess it's that simple. I love this episode. I thought it was fantastic, and I am excited for more Rooster Fighter. I Is it okay if I go ahead and do the closer? I don't want
Yeah, go ahead, do the closer. I'm done.
to. Oh, you know what? Sorry, I've been sick for the last few days, guys. It's been a weird week. I want to know what your guys' thoughts are on Rooster Fighter Episode 5. Um, I haven't done this for a minute. Until next time, guys. Wait. I hope you guys stay safe. Until next time, peace out, guys.
Peace out, guys.